Hello, I'm Alex Mansfield, the host of Manny Talks Shooting, and welcome to another episode. This is the shooting podcast where I talk to individuals all across the shooting industry. We'll talk competition, self-defense, concealed carry. If you like this content, check out our YouTube channel, Manny Talks Shooting. And without further ado, let's get to this episode. Manny Talks Shooting is proudly presented to you by D2 Custom Guns. Did you know that Phil the Groundhog isn't the only thing Puxatawny, Pennsylvania is famous for? That's right, D2 Custom Guns, the home of Dan Heitzenreiter and one of the best, fabulous 2011 builders in the country. So make sure you guys go check him out, D2 Custom, anywhere you can see him on the social media, Facebook, Instagram, go check him out. If you see myself, Patches Reader, anyone with the D2 Custom Guns, make sure you go check him out, and you will thank me later. Now, let's get on to the show. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another installment of the Manny Talks Shooting podcast. I'm glad you're here. Greatly proud to see you and hang out with you and talk to you on another episode. I'm solo an episode, but it's okay. Next week, back to a normal talking podcast. But this one needed a solo episode purely from the fact is that we're talking about our title sponsor again, D2 Custom Guns. So, as you know, I've been giddy about it. Area 5 happened, and guess what? I got my D2 Custom Blaster, my MIDI. My MIDI came in, so I was greedily and selfishly had to go, I test fired it. I picked it up from the FFL on Monday. I went to the range on Thursday, and I shot it in a match today, 8:25 on Sunday, and I took another open win, guys, and it wasn't like a small marginal win. It was hilarious. It was awesomely devastating, a devastating win. So I am very happy with that. So obviously, I'm going to talk about in the show D2 Custom Guns. Go check them out. Talk to Dan. Dan can make you whatever you want. It's freaking fantastic. So please, if you're looking for a new open gun, a limited optics gun, a limited gun, Dan will get you squared away, and he will get you in, and you will not be disappointed at all. So yeah, please go check him out. But obviously, we're going to talk about getting the gun this week, how I shot this match, and how the gun performed. So so we'll talk about it. So obviously, I'm very giddy. I got my gun on Monday. So in it comes in this really cool custom for the people on the video. Sorry, audio listeners, but it comes in a really cool pistol rug. That even has, disc D2C on it. It's got a patch on it that gets added on. I did add a tag from Make Stuff Better. It's got my name and phone number. So for a reason, I leave my gun rug laying around. You got my name and my phone number. And it also tells me kind of which end the muzzle is going to be orientated. And because it is a big old open top zip bag, not like a CR shooter's connection or like a double alpha bag. You could essentially be muzzling yourself when you open the bag. So, but I know whatever end of the key tag is on, pointing is where the muzzle is supposed to go. So, and then when I zip it up, I always zip both zippers to that end, so I can't. And then I put the handles it's because it's got two handles. I close the handles up. But anywho, so I open up the gun. Let me open up the pistol rug. I'll show it off to the camera. It won't do it justice. Sorry, audio listeners. You're going to have to go check this one out on Rumble or YouTube. So obviously we have it here, D2 Custom Guns with the red dirt trigger, range, panda thumb rest. We'll go over components here in the top here in a second. So here we go. I don't know how well it's going to pick it up, but it says Manny's Master Blaster on the dust cover with a gold red dirt trigger. So when it comes down to it, it's a build by Dan's design, right? So Dan had found all the parts that work for him and what makes a good recipe in his guns. And I trusted him, believe in him, and I still do. Like even shooting this thing, it's phenomenal. So, so I guess I'll talk about it. We'll start from the top down. Obviously it's got an SRO. I'm not really used to shooting an SRO, on an open gun. But it was awesome. It was freaking awesome. The dot didn't ever leave the window. It was really good. It's a 2.5 MOA dot, which I'm learning to like coming from that 8. But it's really nice. We've also got a D2 Custom Comp, 2-port compensator, a Brazos slide, a KKM. So it's probably a 4 1/4, 3/4 inch barrel. It's cut back into the comp. So it's a MIDI. So as you can see on the video, the frame or the dust cover is longer than the slide. So
the comp is mated into that, so it's pretty cool. It's got a Brazos zig racker on it. That's silver, so if it ever flew off for some reason, easy to find. I don't see that being an issue. In the back, we got EGW internals with Wilson Combat ambi safeties. The frame obviously is a D2 custom serialized part, engraved with Manny's Master Blaster, and it says D2 Customs, Puxatawny, Pennsylvania, because Phil the Groundhog isn't the only thing famous in Puxatawny, Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's right. That's D2 Custom Guns. I will always say that to the day I die. Obviously, it's a D2 Custom slot. It's a Brazos slide, but D2 Custom milling and a normal mill job on it. So, with two chunky popple holes. So, I'm very happy with this and how that turned out. A Chile frame mount, a Range Panda hammerhead mount. And I really like that he put Torx heads on this, because for some reason you got to take anything off. Torx heads are just superior to Allen keys, so you don't strip them out at all. It's a fantastic product. So I really like that. I don't think I'll ever have to take it apart, but it'll be a-okay if I ever needed to do that for any reason. So that's kind of the top. It's got, like I said, it's a red dirt. I want to say it's the 2 trigger, so it's not too short, it's not too long. I'm coming from a medium Chile, and this is just perfect, other than the fact that there is barely any movement before or after. So, like, this is a very beautiful trigger. The poundage is a little bit heavier than my other gun currently. My other gun, I think, was under 2. This is scaling right at 2.5. But let's just say where this thing breaks and resets is scarily good. So it's also got a Dawson paddle on it, or the mag button, which is beautiful. It's PVD'd with the whole gun. I like it. I've never had issues with the Dawson button. I use that on my other gun. Obviously an E2 grip from Chile, and then a Chile big hands magwell. I wanted the big hands because the cut really meets up with the fat of my hand and kind of pushes it in the right direction. Unlike the other magwell, I just think my hand blobbed around it. This kind of locks my hand in. So it's a beautiful gun, beautifully built. So throughout the rest of the show, so for all my video watchers, you're going to get a good kick out of this. So I also had Range Panda, Eric Steiner, Gianni Giordano, RPG2. They sent me a pistol stand for the blaster. It's in blue. Because I like how the blue looked. So that'll be sitting on the gun. Gordon Ola will be sitting on that pistol stand the whole rest of the show if I pick it up. Obviously, it's just a super cool stand. Obviously, and an SRO dot cover for the dot to protect it. So anywho, that's the gun build. A fantastic build. Beautiful. I've got 6 MBX mags that came with it. They all ran flawlessly in practice and in the match, so a-okay there. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. So let's dive into getting it practicing out with it on Thursday. So I had been plagued coming into this point. I've been plagued with ammo issues self-inflicted by myself unknowingly. When I had a press issue or something, I had to redo my primer punch springs, and honestly I messed up and I didn't check the tolerance. I didn't check the distance it was supposed to be. So I had actually, when I'd retight the primer punch spring on my 750, I was 0.05 too short. So the primers weren't seating quite deep enough, but not deep enough where it was noticeable that they were high. So I'd been fighting that. But so I checked that. I don't know what made me want to check that spec again, but I checked it, and then I had no ammo issues. So it was to the proper spec, and so I had no ammo issues. Yay. So I finally figured out what was causing me ammo issues. Hallelujah. So, all in all, I got my ammo issues, and then this gun had no ammo. We didn't have any ammo issues with this gun, and I know inside this gun there's enough, the parts are made right, so everything's going to pop off on this gun. So, I'm very happy about that. So, anyway, good on that. So today I shot our local Oak Hill Gun Club. I didn't go get to set up yesterday on the 24th because of work and other arrangements and things that I just had to handle. So I didn't get to. So came out, I looked at the stages this morning. This is my wife, Annette. She went with me and she actually shot the matches. It's kind of her She shot one in January, an indoor local match in January, and then after that she hadn't shot. But she shot with me today, and she did really well, and I was very proud that she finished the match, and she did a very good job. So, so everyone, if you just go talk to her if you want, and tell her good job. So, but it was a 6-stage match, and there was, I want to say, out of the whole match, there was 39 whole people who finished. Sorry, 39 total, 38 who finished. So we had one disqualification, which sucks. But yes, so my wife, she did end up 37th. So she didn't come in dead last. So she still beat one other person in the overall, and then the person who DQ'd. So 38 total shooters in the match. I'll cover the match results overall. Carry Optics was won by my good buddy Dave Miller, followed by secondly by Andrew Roderick and Jeff Rockwell in third. Limited Optics was won by Skylar Davis, and I shot with him. Bruce Waynard came in second, and Ben Healy came in third. Open, well, we'll skip Open. PCC was won by Sin Win and Revolver. Bakken, he shot against himself in single stack. Easy peasy. Holy crap. All right. So and then Open, obviously, I won Open Division. Yay. And it was by I just pulled up the calculator. What did the calculator say? 10.54%. So just over 10.5%. I dominated the field by. So I took all the points, 999 points overall for the match. And the next guy came up with 715 points. So I was very happy with that overall. So in the possibility of points, 95.73. And my buddy Chris, who came in second, shot 85.63% of the points. So I won the match with 101 alphas, 62 charlies, 4 deltas, no mics. Chris, coming in second, had 113 alphas, 47 charlies, 3 deltas, 4 mics. There was one person who was really accurate. They had 126 alphas, 33 charlies, 4 deltas, 4 mics, and a procedural, but their time was 251 compared to my 165. So if I look at the raw time overall for the match, 143.23 was the time to beat, and that was Skylar. So I was off the pace. I gave him 10 seconds right off the rip on one stage due to some far shots and not being quite familiar with my trigger, we'll say. The reset and the over travel and the pre-travel, there's none. So you're just oh, see the dot on the target, press the trigger, and your hands might be moving. So then I'm just dancing around the popper. I'll blame that on 100% on me, not the gun. So anywho, I won the match in Open. I was very proud about this and by the margin that I did. So hoorah to me. So that was cool. And the stages are all pretty good. We started I was shot with the first time with this new squad, a bunch of cool dudes. So we shot the first stage. My first stage is always historically slow. And we started on, the stage was called Minor Problems. I did start the day with a stage win. There was a lot of targets there was one called Minor Problems and then the other one called Shoot Major, that the hardcover was legal hardcover targets, but it was weird aiming points. So I was a little slow. I shot the stage in 26.45 seconds. But I shot 17 alphas, 11 charlies, and 1 delta. So came out clean, took all the points. But yes, definitely a little bit slower, but I just collected I shot it on, I didn't shoot the gun at all really moving and shooting on Thursday. I kind of did some simple drills, checked zero, which was fine, chronographed my ammo through the gun, which made power factor happily. So I don't have to change my load at all through this gun. So both guns can run the same ammunition. Just one's gonna the new gun's actually gonna be a higher power factor out of that gun, and even though it's a shorter gun, but it's got one less popple hole. So I came out of the gate swinging with an open stage win. Moved to stage 6, which is another good stage. I did not win that stage. I barely got beat out, purely on about 2 seconds of time. And that was purely on that stage I had shot. It was a pizza pie target. So if you heard anyone talk about the Michigan sectional, it was an IPSC target that was like the pizza slice target. And with that, I shot two. It was my last target. I shoot one into the alpha, and then I shoot a mic, and then I'm like, I see it, so I have to bring kind of the gun back into view, and then rip off another alpha. So if that wasn't the case, I would obviously had the raw time on that one as well, and would have taken the lead and taken that because I had 24 alpha, 5 Charlie, no big deal. Stage 1 was a long distance far steel stage, along Mixton. I came in third on that one. I was 10% back, but also really behind Skyler. The pace was off completely, but I was only 2 seconds off behind the guy who won that stage in open division. And I definitely could have been faster. So if I wasn't missing on those poppers, it would have been a completely different story. So overall, it wasn't a bad stage. Came in third on that one. So it's not about really winning all the stages, especially at a local. It's being the consistent part. You don't want to be like going from 100% to 60% on a stage and 60% on another, and then back to 100, and it just doesn't do you any well. So, speaking of that, let's see, go to open, click my name. So we'll go back to the match for open. So on stages I came, I had the first stage 1 was a third place at 90.68%. Stage 2 was a 99.18%. Stage 3, I came in second at 90.80%. 4 and 5, I had won the stages at 100%, and stage 2 was 93.98. So guess what? I was very consistent there. So my percentages were high enough, and it gave me the overall. So I was very happy with that. And there was a lot of points this match. It was a 166 round match, which was a little higher than normal for us, but it was okay. So I shot, I think I counted my ammo because I took 300 because my buddy Chris told me, the match director, he's like, yeah, it's going to be a little bit higher round count than normal, so bring more ammo. So I think I shot 23 makeup shots throughout the whole match, but a lot of those were on the steel. Oh, no, the steel on the one stage. So shoot major, yep, 99.18. My buddy Brian Dawson beat me on that one. Time, right there neck and neck on time. This stage was interesting because it had an activating sequence, so you could start on either side of the stage, and if you started on the left, you would open yourself up to 2 paper partials, and then you could shoot about 15 yards. There was the mini popper that activated a slasher swinger, and you'd wanted to get the swinger going because it was super fast on presentation. So, and it was still going to be a one-shot pass for most of us. So I came in, I shot the popper, then I shot the 2 partials to the left, and then I kind of walked across on these 4 targets, and then the swinger had slowed in just enough, so I was crack. So I think I had Alpha Charlie on the swinger, which was A-okay on my point because that's still only dropping 1 point on the stage. But purely on the time aspect, it was kind of however it presented. So, and I just gave up a different point swing on that. So my buddy Brian shot 12 Alpha, 13 Charlie. I only shot 11 and 14, but no mics, no misses, no deltas. So it had to aim at different spots. I was aiming for next shot Charlies for the most part, just because it was the most available target zone. Because literally most of the targets, if they were an USPSA target, and they weren't like a slasher already, the whole bottom A zone was gone. So they gave you the Charlie and the Delta, but they hard covered the Alpha on that stage. So I was like, I didn't really care for the stage because you're not really aiming. You can't aim for the middle of the target. You got to aim for some weird spot every target. So back to stage 3. This is one I came second in on by a little under 10%. 2 seconds off, about 1 second and 3/4 off the pace. And I just shot 1 Delta and 2 more Charlies than the guy who beat me on it. So 19 Alphas, 4 Charlies, and 1 Delta. This stage, I was shooting the middle position. There was a middle position, so in the start, you had to shoot this really far, about 20-yard open paper on a lean, and then you had to come across, shoot an Alpha, a slasher box, and then come over to the very far left and shoot a popper. Come run around another wall, shoot through a port to shoot another slasher. And then you could come to the front. You can kind of, as you moved across, there was 2 walls that kind of showed and disappeared some targets. So I had to shoot a slasher, an open paper, and a steel, and another open paper. And I shot that kind of all on the move. And then I had to shoot these 2 mini poppers, one at about 10 yards and one about 13 yards. Kind of the move. I shot the one at about 10 yards on the move pretty easily. And then I kept missing on the second one, so I kind of paused and stopped and shot that one. Had to do a reload. Didn't really need to plan the reload, but with enough makeup shots on the steel, like, I don't want to risk it. So then I came to the very end and shot the last 2 targets. So I just kind of came down to the 3 more hits that I didn't have as good as Chris, and the time. So if I didn't have to stop or pause and have makeup shots on the steel in the middle, would have been fine. And moving a little bit faster probably. And 4 was our last stage of the day, and I beat everybody on that stage by about good 5.2%. And the stage was kind of a big old zigzaggy Z, but it was more squared off. So you'd shoot a paper and a steel, and then you'd have to run to the left. You have to shoot another far paper about 20 yards. And then you come into the side port that's like maybe a step and a half away, and you shoot a steel, 2 paper, and another paper that was tucked against a wall. Did a reload, came up, shot 2 paper, and then started shooting out on the move. There was a set of 3, and then I shot one. It was about a 17-yard paper, backing out on it. And then I came to the last position, shot the 2 paper, a steel, and then another far steel. Shot a far steel, and then a closer steel. So that kind of rounded out my victories and losses. So I was very happy with the performance on this match, and it felt good because the gun performed reliably 100% of the time. The ammo performed 100% of the time, so that's really good. So I think next match we're going to is North Porter. I think, don't quote me, what is it? I was supposed to go to Western Pennsylvania this coming week and shoot on Sunday, but I actually ended up, they're mandating the shop to work on Saturday. So unfortunately, I have to withdraw from Western PA, which I'm really bummed because I was shooting with the D2 squad. So I'm really bummed about that. I can't do that now. So, which fucking sucks. So now I got to go tell all my buddies and everybody that I'm not showing up to that match, unfortunately. So that's a bummer. I did find a consolation match, though, to go shoot on that Sunday because I just got to work Saturday. The problem is traveling in for Western PA is a 5-hour drive, and I'm not doing that at 2 in the morning to go shoot a match, unfortunately. So, and yeah, so it kind of sucks. But then I got to be back in for Monday. It's a holiday, but I've got a family obligation I can't miss either. So kind of kills it on both sides of the weekend, and I'm very disappointed, but it's okay. We're going to go shoot on Sunday and be back home for that family obligation on Monday. I'll be home Sunday afternoon, but there we have it. We had the brand new D2 custom gun, Manny's Master Blaster. This gun's gonna get me to master. I had plenty of people call me a sandbagger, not after the match, but when I posted some results online, they're like, you got to class up, and that's the plan. So class up, have a good time with that, and move into A and show everybody what I've got there too. So the Manny's Master Blaster is going to take me upward and onward, so I'm very excited about that. Dan, brother, I appreciate you building me this gun. It's phenomenal. It's a rock star. I'm just going to keep showing you what I can do with it, so I appreciate you and your support. So I guess, guys, that's everything I've got for you today. Like I said, I appreciate every single one of you. As always, get out and support these podcast partners. D2 Custom Guns, Hunters HD Gold, Outdoor Dynamics, Range Panda, 2 Alpha Apparel, Make Stuff Better, Southern Bobby Q. Let's go. Thanks, guys. Get out and do the things. I'm going to see you on the next one. And honestly, the next show is with another guest. So I just wanted to talk about Manny's Master Blaster, its first match, and how it and I are going to go shred and destroy feelings and hurt and crush souls. So get out and do things. I'm going to see you on the next one.